market has shifted. The bubble has burst. The market is on the decline. Inventory levels are rising. I caution all of our clients and anybody that watches this video to not listen or really read into the data on those articles and understand what it means, and to look at the timing at this time of year and other times of year to really take a look at when that data was gathered. There is seasonality in real estate, and there are ebbs and flows. There are certain times when there's more activity and more inventory than other times of the year. So what I've seen is an increase of articles that have come out in the last 30 days. Inventory levels increasing, which is then causing everybody to think the housing market bubble has burst and the housing market has shifted, and I don't see it yet. What I'm seeing is the market is adjusting to an increase in interest rates, but the extra inventory that seems to have appeared in the market right now is normal. The majority of sellers will put their house on the market in May and June when school is out for the summer, because a lot of sellers have children. So they want to do that. They want to time that when the school is out so that they can make those transitions a little bit easier. What we're seeing right now, in my opinion, is actually that normal increase in volume based on summer seasonality. And it's not the market shifted. It's not the bubble has burst. There's no more inventory than there was a year ago. In fact, we are still at lower levels of inventory than we were last year, and even lower levels than we were in 2020. If you look back historically, we're still lower on inventory right now than we were. Things really haven't changed. What has changed, the buyer competitiveness has decreased a little bit because some buyers can't afford that $400,000 house that they were looking at 2 months ago. You'll see some of the price points where the buyer activity has shifted. There's not as many buyers. So as interest rates move, it has adjusted where the buyers are purchasing at, which is where we see some of those shifts. Entry-level buyers are getting hit the hardest. Yeah. They're the ones that were purchasing houses under $300,000. Well, now that 3 to 5% adjustment in interest rate has caused them to be potentially out of the market because there's not a lot of inventory at those levels, or the home that they're looking at just doesn't fit their criteria. That, I think, has played the biggest part in how the market is responding right now and the kind of the shake that we saw. But there's still no inventory. There's still a lot of competition on every house. I think there's a couple things that should happen. I think sellers need to understand that the change in interest rates has caused the market to adjust, and they may not have that same competition that they would have had 3-4 months ago. You might only have 3-4 offers on the house after a week. Well, you can only accept one buyer. And typically, even with those 3 or 4 offers, as long as you have priced the house correctly, you're going to still have very competitive offers with reduced amount of buyers. Now, pricing still plays a very, very important factor if you're looking to sell your house. The main reason is people are willing to overpay a little bit for a house that they see that's priced correctly. They're not necessarily willing to overpay for a house that's grossly overpriced, because there's going to be issues. There's still 80% of the buyers out there that are not cash. They still have to finance their purchase. Not everybody has excess money to bridge a gap if there's an appraisal difference, and they still need and want to buy a house. As long as you price it right, you're still going to get that activity that you need and likely end up selling above, because there are still multiple people looking at the house and you'll get multiple offers. It might take a couple extra days. It might not go under contract in 3 days. It might be 7 days instead. These are still very, very, very fast time frames based on a normal market, which is 6 months. 6 months supply of inventory is a normal market. If the houses are still selling in 7, 8, 9, 10 days, that's grossly under what the average, not weighed towards buyers or sellers. From a buyer's perspective, my opinion is go in strong, understand with the assistance of the real estate agent that you're working with what the market value or the estimated market value of that property is, and expect that there's going to be competition. I'm starting to hear more buyers now that are saying, oh, the market shifted, we're going to offer under list price. You're going to end up being the lowest offer of the multiple offers that they receive by doing that. If the house is grossly overpriced and it's been on the market for 30, 40, 50 days, so in that instance, if that house is still out there, you have an opportunity to potentially offer list price or under and purchase the house. If it's a house that's on the market a week, 5 days, 3 days, just on the market 1 day, that still is the competitive time frame where you're going to have multiple offers, you're going to have the most interest with people looking at it, and you're going to be in the worst position possible by not trying to compete and offer what would be considered a strong offer for this market. What most buyers don't understand is in our market over the last year, the lowball offer is list price. That's been the low price offer. That's been the one that doesn't end up buying the house unless, again, that house has been on the market for a longer amount of time because of the fact that it was overpriced. As a buyer, you have to make sure that you understand how to be the most competitive that you can be, how you can make competitive offers based on your given scenario.